Super Monkey Ball has been a target for speedrunners since the very early days of speedrunning. Its first GDQ appearance happened way back in 2011, and since then a Monkey Ball game has been seen at nearly every event since. Over these years, a number of players have come and gone, attempting to make or break new records for a plethora of different categories, and like most games, within this shrewdness of contenders, you might expect some people have attempted to fabricate proof and hope to slip their fake times under the noses of the moderators. However, with Monkey Ball, mods can say with certainty this has never happened, and very likely never will happen, ever. There's a number of reasons Monkey Ball runs are so hard to fabricate, and I'll outline the main issues within this video. But first, I'll briefly clarify some preliminary info to ensure we're all on the same page. To keep things simple, I'll focus this video primarily on the Master category for the first Super Monkey Ball game, but basically all of the points discussed here will apply to any other main game category in SMB 1, 2 and Deluxe. Master is a simple category. It requires the player to be Expert, Expert Extra and Master to complete a run. This is generally considered quite a hard speedrun, as Master stages are only available to play if both Expert and Expert Extra were completed without using a continue, massively limiting the potential for errors in your run. In terms of fabricating a run, the most likely and most simple method is called splicing. This is where different parts of the run are executed and recorded independently of each other, and later stitched together in editing software to produce what appears to be a single, fluent speedrun. The point at which the two different clips are stitched together is called a splice. Clearly this is against the rules, but fortunately for Monkey Ball, a spliced run is surprisingly difficult to get away with, and here's why. For many reasons, the least likely place someone would attempt to splice a run would be mid-stage. Due to stage tilt, ball movement, monkey position, and many other reasons, it would be stupidly hard to combine two clips mid-stage without the splice being obviously noticeable, so immediately this seems like it's not a viable option. However, there is a possible alternative to this. In certain instances in normal Monkey Ball speedrunning, it can be advantageous to make use of rapid pausing, to make certain stages easier, or execute certain inputs on exact frames to perform strats that wouldn't be feasible otherwise. As Monkey Ball speedruns are recorded in real time, and not in in-game time, the duration of the runs spent on the pause menu will be included in your final submission. So would it be possible to cut any pauses from the video, creating the facade that the section was completed without pausing, and as a result removing the time spent paused from your speedrun? Let's take a look at a frame-by-frame analysis. Look at this frame here, and take note of II's position. The timer clearly displays 27:75. 0.74 isn't a frame, so the next frame of gameplay, the timer will display 0.73. Advance one frame forward, II's position remains the same, the timer still displays 27:75, and the game is now paused. The pause menu then comes down and displays until it's closed, which is right here. Then the B button is pressed, the menu disappears immediately, and the game advances to the next frame, 27:73. So, after removing the frames displaying the pause menu, advancing from 0.75 to 0.73 looks like this, which would appear as fluent gameplay. To put this theory into practice, I edited this short clip to show how gameplay would look with the pauses removed. Fairly smooth, except the super noticeable pause menu sounds are an obvious giveaway, with no real workaround other than muting the video entirely. There are some other issues with this method as well. Firstly, to get the smoothest looking results, a 60 FPS capture card is required. This is because when capturing 60 Hz gameplay at lower frame rates, it can cause multiple frames to merge into one, as shown here. This means when the pause is edited out, the video may look less smooth, as more frames have been cut from the video than were spent paused. Frame counting could also expose the video as fake. Secondly, this method won't actually cut that much time from the run, only a few seconds of the run are spent pause, as it's only helpful in a few areas, so the tiny amount of time saved using this method isn't nearly worth the risk of getting caught. The next place someone might think to splice a run is between two stages. Looking at the final frame of the previous stage and the first frame of the next stage, this appears to be a suitable place to splice two clips together. But of course, there's a whole range of problems with this as well, the biggest of which is that the game music plays continuously between stages in the same theme, meaning a cut in the music will most likely be noticeable where the splice is. The next few issues all involve the game's busy heads-up display. In fact, the game's HUD is the reason that most potential splicing methods can't be seamlessly executed. First of all, in the top right is the banana count. Bananas appear in set positions on most stages. Collecting them increases your score and also gives the player an extra life if 100 are collected. The counter displays how many bananas the player has collected until they reach 100. If the banana count doesn't remain consistent in your run, it can easily prove your run as being fake. However, with bonus stages, it's not too difficult to keep the banana count consistent. In fact, bonus stages actually provide a workaround for both this and the audio problem, but I'll get further into that later. The second part of the HUD that gives away spliced runs is the total score displayed in the top left. Score inconsistencies aren't as easy to notice as inconsistencies with the banana count. However, the workaround score inconsistency isn't even humanly possible. The reason it's harder to notice at first is that the score displays on the final frame of a stage like this, and like this on the first frame of the next stage. Unless you're too good at mental maths, this should look just fine to the normal eye. The issue is that your splice can easily be found out about by adding the score from the previous stage to your prior total and seeing if it stays consistent with your total now. You may be thinking, like with the banana count, there could be an elaborate workaround to keep the score consistent throughout the run, but this isn't the case at all. Your score for each stage is calculated based on the time taken to complete the floor down to the exact frame, making it not humanly possible to consistently reach the same floors with the exact score you want. The final part of the HUD I want to discuss is the monkey heads also displayed in the top left of the screen. These heads are used to represent the number of lives the player currently has. Firstly to note is that losing or gaining a life and making the number of monkey heads displayed change can also cause inconsistency issues. However, there is a more subtle giveaway with these heads, which is also unrealistic to work around. As you can see during gameplay, these monkey heads slowly tilt from left to right, and due to this tilting, it provides another giveaway for spliced runs, as the degree at which the heads are tilted is always maintained, even between stages. So, now that I've outlined all of the main giveaways for a spliced monkey ball run, I'll quickly revisit the previous splice ideas to see what exactly would give the splice away. So, the giveaways are game audio, banana count, total score, and monkey head tilt. I'll refer to these as flags. So, firstly, we looked at splicing the run mid-stage. This method would be given away by all of the flags, plus a whole range of other problems, so I'll quickly move along. We then looked at removing pauses. As I previously mentioned, this is clearly given away by the game audio. However, the other three flags don't prove this method as fake. But again, removing pauses wouldn't make for a significant time save anyway. Thirdly, was splicing the run between two stages in the same area. This again raises all four flags and doesn't seem to be a viable way to splice a monkey ball run. I'll mark the total score flag as orange, since this giveaway isn't obvious at first glance and requires a little bit of deeper digging. So what are the other options? Well, earlier I mentioned a workaround for the game audio problem splicing between stages would be to splice before entering a bonus stage, as here the music transitions to the bonus stage soundtrack. This means the audio flag is not raised, the banana count may be an issue but can possibly be worked around, the score again is an orange flag, but the monkey head tilt gives away the entire ruse. Damn! Finally a method that looked like it had promise, shot down by disembodied monkey heads. At this point we've covered all of the areas where splicing a run would be most helpful. However, there are a couple of more unlikely places someone might attempt to splice a run, since they wouldn't prove to be very helpful in getting a very good time. After completing Expert, a short cutscene is played before entering Extra, and likewise after beating Extra before entering Master. This provides another potential area that the run could be spliced. Let's quickly run this by the 4 flags from earlier. As the music changes between the cutscene and entering the following stage, the audio flag will not be raised, but we run into all the same problems as before. Inconsistencies with the banana count and score would give the run away, despite the change being less noticeable due to a fade in from the cutscene, and, believe it or not, the degree at which the monkey heads are tilted is retained between stages, so would also be a giveaway if someone were to splice a run here. The final place someone might attempt to splice a run is on the continue screen, which seems ridiculous to even consider. Don't forget that you can't even use a continue before reaching Master, so this only allows for you to splice in the final 15% of the run, and even then, if you're using a continue, it's probably not a great time anyway. Besides that, this method avoids the audio issue, as the continue screen has different music to the main stages. It also avoids the banana count and score flags being raised, as both of these values are set to 0 after using a continue. And it even avoids the head tilt issue, as the position is reset also. Finally, a method of splicing that gave us 4 green flags. Just too bad it's so not worth it. So to wrap this video up, if you want to get a good time in Monkey Ball, you actually have to be good at Monkey Ball. The only foolproof method of potentially splicing a run is so unuseful, it's not even worth doing. Just get good at the master stages. This video was inspired by both Apollo Legend and Retro. They each made videos showing how seemingly easy it is to make a convincing doctored run and get away with it. So I thought I'd show how this isn't the case for all games, and in this instance is next to impossible. I plan on making more videos like this in the coming weeks, but based on my track record of quote-unquote big returns to YouTube, I'm not going to make any promises. Make sure to leave your own thoughts and ideas in the comments, and point out any mistakes I might have made. I'd be interested in seeing some discussion about other games like this, or your own ideas about creating your own fabricated Monkey Ball run. Well, thanks for watching, and for anyone wondering what editor I use for the animations, it's called Microsoft PowerPoint. Goodbye.